It's been a weird week 12 around the NFL. The Houston Texans are infuriating, and Aaron Rodgers is in CYA mode. It is time for the Sunday Pig Pile. It's Watch DA Live.
Your football Sunday has dwindled down to this. Just a bunch of busted bets and broken fantasy dreams. You need this. And we're here for you. Immediate reaction, big opinions, gang tackling. Be one with the channel. It's DA's Sunday Pig Pie. Oink, oink, suckers.
All right, let's do this, everybody. Happy Sunday night to you once again. It's week 12 of the NFL season. Last Watch DA Live before Thanksgiving with all your family coming over. Were you going to them? Who needs that? That's why we're here for you. How about this tonight? The people at Santo are amazing. I've got a Guy Fieri autographed cookbook to give away tonight. That's right. I mentioned this last week on the show. The people over at Santo Spirits are just so thrilled with our partnership. They love to watch the aliens. They're like, man, we saw the Bob's Bar show. You have unbelievable loyalty amongst your listeners, amongst your audience, your viewers. What more can we do for them? Because they're killing it. I said, well, they like free stuff. They said, well, we can do that. So Santo Spirits and their tequila is co-owned and founded by Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar. So we've got autographed swag to give away from both of them. Tonight is going to be the Guy Fieri cookbook autographed. Okay, so great Christmas present, holiday present, Hanukkah present, what have you. Also, if you want to just stash it and take it yourself, that's cool too. We're giving it away to elite commentary. So get your comments in. Pound away on the keyboard. Could be takes on the NFL day that was. Could be takes on the college football weekend that was. Could be takes on tonight's show. Could be takes on me. I'm open. All right? So Aiden, the Marquette Marvel, is guiding you through this. He is watching everything you do. Who's naughty, who's nice, who's commenting. And we will give away an autographed cookbook from Guy. Also tonight, last dive bar giveaways as well. So you can get a t-shirt as well from us here on Watch DA Live. Our partners are amazing. So hit us up again. Commentary is where it's going to be at. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking. And we will give away stuff tonight. Also, both partners, you get discounts on their websites. So if you're looking for a holiday gift-giving ideas, use our code. Get great stuff. Code Mothership works across the board. Santo Spirits, you get 10% off your order. Last Dive Bar, you get 15% off your order. SantoSpirits.com, lastdivebar.com. Use the code Mothership. Save cash. Give away gifts. Be one with the channel. All right, time now to begin our night with our Furious Five. And the Furious Five, as always, begins with Fitz Magic. And these are the best fits from the day of players arriving to the stadium. How about Adam Thielen rocking old school Mighty Ducks jersey? Oh, yeah. And remember, Adam Thielen, Minnesota guy, didn't only play there, grew up there, and Mighty Ducks was set in Minnesota. That's right, Gordon Bombay, a Minneapolis youth hockey, junior hockey superstar who fell into hard times. So amazing, great job by Thielen wearing the Mighty Ducks true D1 jersey to the stadium today. How about Commanders defensive back Mike Sainristil, who arrives at the stadium today in the game against the Cowboys looking like he was playing a lead in Oppenheimer or some Old West movie. I mean, The Dirty Dozen, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. How badass is arriving to the stadium in that? Mike Sainristil, very nice. Did not work out for the Commanders, but I like the look. Today's best fashion. And finally, how about DK Metcalf? Well, what's up with this DA? He's just got regular old button down on. He's got the headphones on. Well, check out his necklace. DK Metcalf arriving to the stadium today rocking a Juicy Drop Pop chain. Juicy Drop Pop. How about that? I mean, you're going back like Aiden's childhood. That's like 2000s Halloween. I mean, totally throwback Candylicious. You know I'm going to love that. The Juicy Drop Pop chain, DK Metcalf, dripping with swag. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right now, game is still going on in the late window, Packers and Niners. Packers already lead by 3 touchdowns, 10 minutes to play. When this thing goes final, we will welcome on my friend Robert Turbin. Robert does the Sunday morning show on NFL radio with me. He was a Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks and played nearly a decade in the NFL. And he's great. I mean, just great on our show. I love working with him on Sundays. So he's going to join us tonight after this thing goes final to break down Packers and Niners and today's Week 12. And, you know, he won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. So with the Seahawks victory over the Arizona Cardinals today, the Seahawks have something to talk about. Now, they're trying to hold on to a late lead. If they hold on when it goes final, we'll let you know. And Robert's going to join us either way following the conclusion of Packers and Niners, followed by 60 Minutes and Murder, she wrote. Just joking. That's not happening on this channel. This is Watch DA. This is the YouTube channel du jour for football heads like myself and those that love throwback sports and love some fun in their lives. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click on this button below me. All right? Make sure you're subbed. If you're not subbed, get subbed. And if your friends aren't subbed, get them subbed. And if your significant other isn't subbed, get them subbed. Let's get everybody subbed because everybody needs a laugh. Everybody needs a family. And that's what we do around here. Dysfunctional family Sunday nights, especially around the holidays. Bring it in. Bring it in. All right, next up, let's get to my first football take of the day. Last season, I personally built the Sirius XM Houston Texans bandwagon, okay? I was the voice of the national airwaves saying, watch out for the Texans. Watch out for D'Amico. Watch out for CJ. Watch out for this team. This team is legit. They're on the come. They're young. They're hungry. I like everything about them. I love that draft. I love getting Will Anderson. I loved everything about the Texans. And lo and behold, they won the division. And then they won a playoff game. And then they fought the number 1 seed, the Ravens, pretty tough in the first half in Baltimore in the divisional round. And everybody assumed this year they would take that next step forward. The fact of the matter is they're going to end up winning a bad division, and they will be absolutely infuriating while doing so. I am so frustrated by this Texans team. They messed around today, and they lose this game at home against the Titans, and they're so much better than the Titans, and they were playing at home, and they just can't get out of their own way. And this is particularly aggravating to me because I am a huge D'Amico Ryans guy. Smart, controlled, aggressive when needed, calm when needed. I think he walks a great balance and a great line. But if you are a reflection of your head coach, then D'Amico Ryans is sloppy because there were so many self-inflicted wounds. And there are moments this year where the Houston Texans are just a calamity of errors. And nothing highlighted that more than today against the Titans, trying to drive for a game-winning score and penalties. mental miscues, illegal movement or formations. The offensive line just getting absolutely manhandled. C.J. Stroud stepping out of the back of the end zone of the safety that ices it. There were so many things that were so frustrating today, and this is what the Texans have become this season. You can't trust them. And that bothers me. That bothers me because I was the one last year that had believed when other people did not. This year, I just can't bring myself to believe in them. I can't do it. I cannot do it. There's been too many times this year where they have played a D or C level effort. And that ain't going to get it done to the playoffs. And that's not how you elevate to the next level as a franchise. They have all of the pieces. They have all of the pieces to be great. And yet they just can't get to that next step this season. And I am left to wonder whether it's too much too soon. When you're a young team and you have success early and then you become the trendy pick, oftentimes you can start believing it, believing the hype. And you've got to have a coach that grounds you and focuses you. And I am worried that D'Amico's messaging of doing that is not getting through. There is just too many self-inflicted wounds week after week from the Texans. And I don't know why, and I don't know when it's going to stop because we're already at Thanksgiving. But the Houston Texans should be a contender. I could have been a contender. And they're not. They're going to win the AFC South. They're going to have a home playoff game, and they're going to be right for the picking for somebody like the Chargers or the Ravens or somebody else to waltz in there and get a win and knock them out wild card weekend. I'm warning you right now, it's setting up that way. Next, we know this Texans team isn't beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. We know the Texans aren't beating the Kansas City Chiefs. But we also know the Chiefs can be beaten. We're learning this in real time. The Chiefs can be beaten. The fact that the Chiefs struggled today to beat the Carolina Panthers is number one. That is a tip of the cap to Dave Canales, Bryce Young, and that Panthers team. You know what? They were dead in the water early in the season, and they had won a couple of straight games. They had a bye. They fought tooth and nail today against the Chiefs, and they put a real scare into the two-time defending Super Bowl champions. And I would say right now, Bryce is playing much better. The defense is playing much better. They were historically trash as of like 3 weeks ago. And Canales looks like he's got the guys pointed in the right direction. So give Canales and the Panthers credit. But it feels to me, number one, the Chiefs lost the perfect season last week in Buffalo and then said, they exhaled. That if that wasn't the goal, they had trouble today figuring out what the new goal was. Okay? That's the first thing. And maybe it's a blip. Maybe it's a moment in time. Maybe it's as simple as, you know what? Bad team. They overlooked them. They found a way to win anyway, and it's just a blip on the radar. However, I wonder openly if this team is gassed. And I don't think it's crazy to suggest that while the Chiefs have been known for mess around, and then turn it on when it matters most, mess around, and then their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, figures it out at the end, mess around, get to the playoffs, and then just run the gamut or run the gauntlet. I think this year could be different. I think this year they are running on fumes. I really do. I really, really do. And they have had injuries, okay? They have had 2 significant blows to their wide receiving core with Hollywood Brown and then Rashee Rice. But this is a Chiefs team that is really troubled in clicking into whatever gear they can get to unless it's absolutely mandatory. And even then, sometimes they don't get there. And we're waiting because none of us want to be wrong on this. I get it. You don't want to be wrong on the team that just keeps gashing through the playoffs because you look like a stupid idiot. It happened to the Patriots and naysayers on Tom Brady how many times? This is the year he falls off a cliff, and then it hangs with you forever. Max Kellerman can't ever live that thing down. So nobody wants to say it. And combine that with last year, they never looked great, and then they just did everything they had to do in the playoffs and won another Super Bowl. But I think it is catching up to them. I really do. I think it's catching up to them, and they can be beaten in the playoffs. And look, they'll probably just figure it out until the AFC Championship game because that's who they are. But I even think if Buffalo got them in the divisional round, even if they had to go to Arrowhead, I think the Bills can win that football game. I have more confidence every week that the Chiefs can be beaten because I respect the journey, the history, how taxing it is to do it more than most because, of course, I just love the history of the NFL. And no matter how great your team is, nobody's been able to go three-peat. And there's a reason. The 70s Steelers couldn't do it. The 80s Niners couldn't do it. The 90s Cowboys couldn't do it. And the Patriots couldn't do it. And there's a reason. All of those teams were great. All those teams were historically great. They couldn't do it because I believe you end up running out of fuel. There just comes a time when, there's muscle memory and there's institutional knowledge. And yes, it's usually your quarterback that can pull a rabbit out of the hat because you've won so many times before, or your defense comes up with a big play or something you can figure out, you can crack the code. But a lot of those teams end up losing in the playoffs that third year because they're just straight gassed. And then you reboot, you recalibrate, and now you have a refreshed look on, man, we didn't do it last year. Let's go back out and do it this year. And I think the Chiefs are suffering from that. I think they can be beaten this year. I really do. I think they can be beaten. And everyone's going to be scared to say it because they're the Chiefs. And I understand why, but I feel more confident by the day that we are not seeing the Chiefs hoist that Vince Lombardi. And they've got the heart of a champion, and they've got the quarterback. And so would I be surprised if they kind of like jerry-rigged this thing into the Super Bowl and suddenly put 10 points up in the first quarter against the Lions or something in the Super Bowl, and everybody's going, oh my God, they're going to do it again? Nothing would surprise me. But I think they're losing in the playoffs this year. I really do. I do not think they're three-peating. We're seeing some of the facade crack. Next up, Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets are just a never-ending cavalcade of ridiculousness, aren't they? The Jets are a never-ending cavalcade of ridiculousness. And now the most recent report is that Aaron Rodgers said no to the scans that his team wanted him to get. That Aaron Rodgers, the soldier on his shield, said, no, I might be hurt. I might not be 100%, but I'm waving off your scans. These are not the droids you're looking for. I'm a warrior. Where I'm going, I don't need scans. Now, why would this be the report today from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network? Well, could it be because Rodgers has been humiliated this season by looking really old? The team is a complete crap show, and his head coach got fired. Now his GM got fired, and it is one complete humiliation. And Aaron Rodgers just can't seem to stomach the fact that he is the object of ridicule. And so he's going to come up with some other reason why Aaron Rodgers stinks this year. And that reason is, he was playing hurt. But we don't have him on an injury report. We don't have a noted injury. How could this be? Why? Because Rodgers waved off the scans. Now, if this is true, it is again, just another chapter of the insanity of the Jets, that not only would they listen to a 40-year-old quarterback and how to assemble the coaching staff and the roster, but they would also listen to him when he says, ignore my potential injuries. Okay, that seems insane, but they are the Jets. Or number two, why would Aaron Rodgers, playing this season at 40 years old, coming off an Achilles tear, want to ignore his injuries? I mean, don't you think that would potentially be playing with fire? Doesn't that feel like, I don't know, the worst way to go about one of your final seasons of the NFL when you're 40 years old? You know what? I could be hurting. I could be banged up. In fact, I know that I'm banged up, but I don't really want to know details of it, Doc. Don't worry. I'll be fine. Right. It's amazing, but somehow Aaron Rodgers is getting even more pathetic by the day, because now he is leaking floating stories that he's injured, but he just doesn't care in dealing with it or looking into it right now. And so these are not the scans you're looking for. Sure. Also, the report is that he does not want to retire after this, that he wants to play again next year, but it is probably a mutual decision that he doesn't want to come back to the Jets and they don't want him to come back. So could you imagine another one-year dance with somebody else around the NFL? Oh, I'm sure at 41 years old, that'll be even better than this year. Which contender wants to sign up for the next year of Aaron Rodgers? Who's the next team and GM and head coach that wants to be completely undermined by 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who either waves off scans when he's injured or lies about being injured? Who wouldn't want that next season? Good luck. Good luck. Next up. This game is almost over at Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers are smashing the San Francisco 49ers. An easy win by the Packers today. And I don't want to be the one that jumps on and off bandwagons, okay? Because I don't like those types of people, especially those in my position where you are paid to have an opinion and you should be thorough and convicted in the opinion unless overwhelming evidence mounts to the contrary. And then you're allowed to change. I picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl before the season. And every step of the way, I have been punched in the gut in believing in them. And it crescendoed last week when they needed the block field goal at Soldier Field just to get past the listless Bears. And I just couldn't take it with Jordan Love's bad decision-making, errant throws, and this very uninspired Packers effort. And I said, Jordan Love's going to have to grow up quickly, because if the Packers are supposed to be a contender, it has to be better right now. And today, it was much better. It was much better by all parties. Much, much better. And I know the Niners were without Brock Purdy. And so you put Brandon Allen out there, you put him at Lambeau Field, and you know what? The Packers should win that game. They should, and they did. But I'm here to tell you, do not give up on the Green Bay Packers just yet. I haven't, and I refuse to do so. And I'll give you evidence of how. This morning on the Sunday NFL Tailgate Show, okay, we asked the question. I asked this to Robert Turbin, my co-host, who's going to join me here shortly. Who's the number one challenger to the Lions of the NFC? And he said, it's the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers if they get healthy. And I said, I hear you on the Eagles, but I'm scratching off the Niners because I'm not waiting for that bus anymore. I'm not waiting for the 49ers to somehow get healthy at some point of the season, because I've been waiting for that. We've all been waiting for that. And it's damn now Thanksgiving, and I'm not waiting any longer. Okay, now Brock Purdy's out. And so that's going to be kind of a constant source of watching. I'm not waiting for that. The Green Bay Packers. The Packers. And I know they got punched in the mouth in the rain a couple of weeks ago at Lambeau by the Lions. And I know the Packers have had a number of what are you doing efforts this season? But I'm still here to tell you, and I said this morning on NFL radio. My buddy Turbo can attest to this, and listeners as well. I said, I might be the only one in America still believing in the Packers. And he said, yeah, you are, DA. And I said, but I still believe that they've got the pieces to do it. I believe in the coaching staff. I believe in the defense. They've got a great running back in Josh Jacobs. They have a tremendous couple of young wide receivers. And if the quarterback plays consistent football, they can win big games. And I said, the key against the 49ers is you're playing a backup QB. Don't give away possessions. Don't give away possessions, and you should be fine. You should outscore a Brandon Allen-led Niners offense. They didn't. He didn't turn the football over in stupid spots. They poured it on. They were up early. And then even in the second half, when they were a little bit on the ropes because the Niners started moving the football, they counterpunched. Believe it. The Packers, if they put it all together, and that's a big if, but they still have the pieces to challenge the Lions. They still do. Today, a good step forward with a shellacking of the San Francisco 49ers. Finally, I mean, how bonkers, crazy, ridiculous was the Cowboys and Commanders game today? I mean, that game, that day had it all. First of all, I mean, the kickoff return for a touchdown by Turpin is ridiculous. First of all, it's on the ground at the goal line, and he one hand stabs it to pick it up. I mean, instead of falling on it, instead of picking it up with two hands, cradling it, no, one hand, pick it up like you're picking up a juicy pop, right? Just pick it up off the ground. Yeah. Like it's dirty laundry. Number two, a spin move? A spin move on a kickoff return when you're already kind of like in your own 20? And then it worked. Taken it to the house, straight line speed, absolutely incredible. So Cowboys fans finally relieved of the doom and gloom of this season for at least a moment on the kickoff return. That was special. But that vaunted doomsday Cowboys defense does it again. They do it again. And what happens? They freaking let Terry McLaurin cut right through that defense for that winding, absurd touchdown. And oh my goodness, the Commanders are going to tie this thing, and it's going to be kind of like the Hail Mary against the Bears, pulling rabbits out of flipping hats. And lo and behold, the extra point. No good! What? What just happened? All of that was some of the most ridiculous, bizarre, absurd, wonderfully absurd plays and finishes to a season, to a game. Man, did that game have the weirdest ending of the season thus far in week 12 of the NFL, matched week 13 of the college football season. This weekend in football in general was quite quirky. Jeez, that Commanders-Cowboys game had it all. All right, as I mentioned before, you guys, you have to make sure you keep these comments coming in because we are giving away good stuff tonight. I mean, come on. We've got an autographed Guy Fieri cookbook. Autographed Guy Fieri cookbook. That's right. Santos Spirits is giving away an autographed Guy Fieri cookbook to one of the Watch DA leads. How cool is that? So hit us up with your great comments about college football, the NFL, this show, today in the league, anything you got, me personally, whatever it is, you know what? Aiden's going to pick the best comment to get that. And then also we've got last dive bar giveaways as well. And so make sure you are interactive here on the program by sending us your commentary. Also, make sure you are subscribed, because if you are, you're just going to get this goodness and notifications when we are good. That means watch DA live on Sunday nights. That means deep dives throughout the week. That means the best of this show. That means everything you could possibly want, and send it along to your friends as well. Get everybody involved, especially around the holidays. I know you want to burn time on your phone. Watch our channel. We got videos galore on there. We'll get everything you could possibly want on there. So make it happen. Simply go, click on this button below me, and then send it to your friends and family. Make sure they are subscribed and connected to the YouTube mothership. Let me just say this. I'm at a loss right now with Rosie, my cat. And you know I love Rosie. She's my girl. She is the best cat I've ever had. But I hate to say it, she's too nice. We now have a mouse infestation, and I need Rosie to step up here. I need some competitiveness. I need compete level and battle meter here. I need some guts. I need her to realize that this is not a free ride around here. You're a cat. They're mice. I need you to step up and do your job. The only way this team wins, the only way that we win a Super Bowl and get to the common ground we're all looking for, is if we all do our job. My job for you, Rosie, is to make sure your dry food is filled up in your bowl, and to give you some roasted chicken when needed as well. And that's right. I get fresh breasts of chicken. I put it in the deep fryer, or the air fryer rather, put it on 350 for 10 minutes or so, and she's got nice chicken, either hot that night, or I put it in the fridge and make sure she's well fed. She has the heat on. She's got 2 loving parents. She's got a loving brother in AJ. She's got a roof over her head. She was a rescue kitten. You know what, Rose, you got it good. Now I need you to do your job. They're mice. I can hear them. We can hear them in the ceiling and behind the walls. Rosie, I need you to do your job. Okay? I need it very badly, because if I hear that, I'm going to get real angry. If I hear above me, very weird. If I see that little skitter of those little 4 feet and tail going through my kitchen again, I'm going to get very angry, Rosie. I love you, Rosie, but I need you to do your job. Step up. We all have jobs to do. Okay. If you listen to this show, you know that my Sundays are complete, because mornings I'm on Sirius XM NFL radio for the Sunday tailgate. Nights, I'm doing this with you guys. We've had such amazing guests throughout the season. You know, we've had some great players come through here. Last week, 2-time Super Bowl champion Lawrence Tynes, who kicked 2 overtime NFC championship field goals to go to the Super Bowl. We had my man Bart Scott join us here on the show. Bart, always one of the best quotes in football. We had Golden Tate join us, and Golden was a Seattle Seahawk once upon a time and won a Super Bowl there. And our next guest also has got a big, fat ring with that Seattle Seahawks team of 2013. He's my partner in crime on Sunday mornings on NFL Radio Channel 88. My man joins us, Robert Turbin. Let's hear from everybody. We held that nice and long so that everybody can read that bio. That's right, nearly a decade in the NFL, a Super Bowl championship as well, and now heard on NFL Radio Channel 88 and CBS Sports Network as well, calling college football games. My man Turbo, Robert Turbin. Brother, how you doing tonight?
Yo, that was quite the introduction right there. I wasn't expecting that.
I had to do you right, man.
That was awesome. I feel like this is like this. What did we do here? I did something on my side.
Well, you got is that a Mariners jersey behind you? Framed in the shot perfectly. And
I
so,
threw out the first pitch after we won the Super Bowl.
oh yeah, they gave you
Yeah.
that jersey?
Yeah. I threw out the first pitch. I had some imposter syndrome too, because I remember having a conversation with John Snyder, and he's the general manager of the Seahawks, and I said, the Mariners want me to throw the first pitch, but I was like, I'm not like I didn't feel like I was a superstar, it was just like,
Okay.
usually that. And he looked at me and says, Turbo, don't overthink this. Go throw the first pitch. Have a good time. So I said, okay, all right. It was a good time. It was great. It was one of the cooler experiences of my career.
And you've had a lot of them. This morning, I said, who's the biggest challenger to the Lions? And you said, well, it's the Eagles and it's the Niners, if the Niners can get healthy.
If healthy.
And I know. I said, if healthy. And I said, I'm not waiting for the healthy Niners bus. I'm not waiting for it anymore. It's the Eagles. And I said, I might be the only guy in America that says this, but it's also the Packers. And you said, yes, you're the only guy in America that says that, DA, the Packers. You're the only guy. Do you feel a little bit like coming on my side of the bus now after today's devastation of the Niners?
No, I don't. Okay. The Niners were dismantled. All right. No Nick Bosa on defense. No Trent Williams at left tackle.
Right.
I mean, Ayuk's out for the year. No starting quarterback. I mean, how inaccurate was Brandon Allen today? I mean, he had some good performances, but for the most part, he was missing his guys high, overthrowing his targets. There was just no consistency, in the game. And then even your stars then start to make mistakes. You see the fumble by Christian McCaffrey. So the Green Bay Packers did what they were supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do against a dismantled 49er team. Had the 49ers been healthy, I don't know if the result would have been the same as what we saw tonight. But the positive thing about the Packers is this: when a team is down and you're supposed to win big like this and do it, that's a good indication for your team.
Could we get to the playoffs and you come around to my side and say, well, you know what? Okay, the Packers are one of the best challengers to the NFC. Is there a pathway for you to get there with Green Bay?
I maybe, if Jordan Love can go on a streak or a run or find some consistency as it pertains to protecting the football. I mean, there was a lot of close calls in tonight. The 49ers still were able to get to the football, man. That's been the theme for the Packers. You just can't have those in the playoffs, man. That level of mistakes it's thin. I mean, it gets razor sharp once you get into playoff time, man. You get away with it in the regular season, but not in the playoffs. I'm concerned about that.
Okay, are you ready then to jump off the Niners bandwagon after what you saw today?
It's a good question. I'm still going to say no. Remember I said this morning, I said, look, they got to win one of these two games. They got Buffalo next week in Buffalo. It's going to be another tough challenge, all right? But if they can find a way to win that one, then there's still hope for the 49ers. Cardinals lost today, all right, to the Seahawks. And it didn't look great on either side.
Mm-hmm.
And all the Niners have to do to get to the playoffs is win the NFC West. It is wide open. No team in that division is really dominating right now.
Yeah, boy, that Cardinals loss helped him out a lot. Keeps that whole bunching together in the NFC West, and the Niners have a bunch of those teams still to go in the division. So it was a weird day, because you saw good teams not play very well. What was more concerning, the Texans losing to the Titans at home or the Chiefs struggling with the Panthers?
It's the Texans, man. The Texans losing at home today I think that's more concerning. The Chiefs, the way that they won, they've been winning like that all season long. It's just what it is. And give the Panthers credit, they've been getting better. But the Texans losing to the Titans at home, huge. And then for the Titans to be able to do what they were able to do against the Texans, run the football, Will Levis throwing the football, big plays down the field. What happened to this defense? The defense was supposed to be upgraded from last season, and all they've done is gotten worse. And CJ Stroud has certainly declined from that. I don't want to call it a sophomore slump, but He definitely isn't playing at the same level he was playing at last season. When they take the field in critical moments, Dame, you could just see the body language of when they get into the huddle. It's almost like they're unsure of themselves, and you can tell before the snap, you can tell after the snap. CJ Stroud is unsure of himself, and when it comes to critical moments, they don't execute.
I know, and I don't understand why, because I really like D'Amico. I mean, you played against D'Amico. You know the type of reputation that he has in the NFL. They were so good in so many levels last year. They were tight. They were on point. And this year, they're not. When they're trying to come back against the Titans today, I mean, they've got bad, just mental error penalties. Their offensive line's getting killed, absolutely killed. CJ Stroud's running for his life. CJ's also errant. They're just making a ton of unforced errors on themselves. They're playing a sloppy brand of football, and I don't understand why. If they didn't do it last year, why do you think it's catching up to them this year?
You know, sometimes you just you think your stuff don't stink, man, and it catches up to you. You get humbled in the NFL, man. You have one good season, and you think automatically you're just supposed to build off of it. There were some comments made. I didn't agree with these comments, by the way. I want to preface by saying that, but there were some comments made about CJ Stroud early in the season. Like, he kind of had this sort of appearances like he arrived, like he was already, I think it was after the game they played against Caleb Williams and the Bears. And he kind of was, he's giving, and some people are like, well, you just got here yourself. What kind of advice? And so, maybe there's a little bit of that with the Texans. I don't think so personally. I think other teams gotten better, and the Texans have not. And you do have to take the injuries into consideration. The wide receiver, they don't have their left tackle. But the defense, to me, no excuse.
The CJ Stroud thing's really interesting because he was everybody's darling last year for being a leader, humble, hardworking. They win a playoff game. There was nothing you could say badly about CJ. He was kind of like paired together with the Houston Texans' success. Yeah. He was either the reason or was, a partner in the reason why. And so people are very hesitant to start crushing him. He kind of is above the fray a little bit in that way, but really this season,
yeah,
if he had had a mediocre rookie campaign, he would be getting pretty crushed this year. But because he didn't, he's floating above the criticism that he probably deserves.
Yeah, even me. Like I'll admit, like I'm even careful about, I don't want to, you know what I mean? But I will say this: the one thing I do notice about CJ Stroud that's different is just watch him on the sideline when things aren't going good. Watch him. How many times, if you watch the game, there were so many times quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, Slowick, went over to CJ Stroud, patting him on his leg, patting him on the helmet, like his body language, he's pouting. Even when, and you want your quarterback that, okay, we understand that you get into the heat of the game, but Russell was so great at this. It didn't matter. Like that game we won in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers when we recovered the onside kick. Yeah, we were done. But Russell never pouted. He just always, come on, guys, next drive, next play, boom, boom. And you just don't see that from CJ. You saw it last year. It wasn't like everything was perfect last season. They faced some adversity, but he always seemed like he had this positive mindset. It just felt that way. Right now, it doesn't look like that. Like he looks like Kyler Murray did last year. He's always pouting on the sideline and stuff like that, away from his teammates. It's different.
You told a story this morning on the air that I said, boy, I want to dig into this more with Turbo tonight. And it was Andrew Luck. You had played for the Indianapolis Colts. He's a young quarterback, obviously the number one pick overall, and everybody thought so highly of him that it was like, we know he's going to be the number one pick. Suck for Luck. Get bad, tank, because you want to get that draft pick. You want to get Andrew Luck. And you said he wasn't one of the guys. Maybe there was some arrogance there, and he just didn't connect. And you had noticed that. And I wanted to dig into that because that's not what we think of with Andrew Luck. So what did you observe as we talk about young quarterbacks and kind of growing up in the fishbowl of the NFL?
Yeah, he was just he kept to himself. He's one of those guys. He's already a private guy, right? Doesn't have the social medias and things of that nature. and that's all cool. But when you're in the locker room, there's just there's a bond that has to sort of be in place in order to have great teams. Not everybody has to be best friends. We don't always have to hang out with each other, holidays and after games, and you don't always connect that deeply. But in the locker room, man, you're able to share a conversation. You're able to, break bread. And in the beginning, it was just like you couldn't get that, with Andrew. When I was in Seattle, Russ, Romo in Dallas was super cool. Big time quarterbacks. And it just didn't have that sort of vibe in the beginning, with Andrew. But we talked about the game, having the space where it can hum you a little bit. And I mean, like, even like sharing numbers and stuff like that. It was like so like, and it was it was different. It was just weird because you don't normally get that in a locker room, even at quarterback. But but everybody learns, man. Everybody evolves. We all strive to be the best that we can be. And sometimes you have to learn to be a leader. How many quarterbacks do we see that don't know how to lead in the beginning? They're just so singularly focused on being great, and they forget, like, man, I'm the quarterback. I have to, I'm like second to the coach almost. And so I think there's a little bit of space for that when it came to Andrew as well.
And you had noted that it was an injury that changed Andrew Luck dramatically from what you saw. And I think this is important for me to know, for me to understand, and for our audience and NFL fans in general. We think leadership is born. You have it in high school. You have it in college. When you get drafted, you have leadership, and you're just supposed to be a leader. And what you observed was Andrew Luck didn't have that until he was humbled by the game. And then he grew into it, and he became an awesome leader. What was that transition that you observed?
Well, I use my own experience, and that's where I was able to notice it. Because for me, growing up as an athlete and being really good, and and talking trash and being really cocky and things of that nature, and then I was hurt immediately. I got an injury immediately as a true freshman. I was 17 years old, and it was so significant, the injury, Dame, that after getting an MRI, after talking to the surgeon, he's like, "Look, I can repair this injury, but I can't guarantee you're ever going to be able to play football again because of the significance of the injury and where it's located and what you do as a football player, as a running back." All right. And I'd never heard anything like that. First of all, I've never even been injured before. I've never spoken to a surgeon before. I've never had surgery before. I didn't know anything about this. I'm turbo. I'm invincible. I'm Superman, and in those moments of going through surgery and rehab, and I'm just like, man, like I've got to have a better mindset. If I recover from this, or when I recover from this and get back onto the field, like I'm going to be different from a personality standpoint. I'm going to appreciate the game more. I'm going to appreciate the people around me more, my teammates. And so that can happen for you when you get injured. I believe it's happened with Kyler Murray, and that's why we see a difference in him. That was part of our discussion this morning. His body language is different. His leadership is different. His press conferences are different. And I just believe that, in a sense, it did happen with Andrew. When the injury started sort of piling along, you realize, like, the guys that you can lean on most outside of, maybe your intermediate family, which is a different conversation then too, because that's not always available for us once we get to this level, because mindsets start to change with people around you. And so the people that you can really lean on that relate the most are the teammates, because we're all doing the same thing. And nobody can relate to us more than us. And I think there's a space that once he recovered, there was some realization there, and it just built a closer bond with guys in the locker room.
You lived a career where you saw a lot of different situations, some good like in Seattle, some bad like in Cleveland. And Daniel Jones has been around a bad situation, let's face it, in New York. Now, some of that is his responsibility, some of that is his doing. But I wonder, do you think the Giants did him dirty? Because, when they dropped him from starting quarterback to fourth string, they said basically we don't want you on the team anymore. And he said that he was willing, now who knows what his agent was going to be willing to do, but kind of like restructure the contract so that he could keep playing for the New York Giants. Ultimately, do you think the Giants did him right by basically giving him a release and now he can go wherever he wants? Or was this whole thing embarrassing and they should have handled it a different way?
The fact that maybe it got out was embarrassing, but this is totally normal in the NFL with teams. Once a team sort of to decide that they're going to move on from you, doesn't matter what position you play, it happens. That's what happens. You essentially become a practice squad guy, and they're preparing to make a decision with you, where it be a trade, release, whatever the case may be. And so, no, they didn't do him dirty, not even close. I mean, they paid him when most people didn't even think he deserved to get the contract. They chose him over Saquon. How did we do you dirty? We gave you every single opportunity and chance to be able to succeed, and could some things around him have been better? Absolutely. Sure. It wasn't perfect on the Giants side, but they did pay the man. He remained the starting quarterback. He got his opportunities, and it just didn't work out. So he was done fairly. He was done just like every other position in the league.
It's funny because he's almost becoming a sympathetic figure now. I see a lot of people saying, well, he'll go to a better situation and you'll see. And, they let Saquon go and they never had a good offensive line. And I think because he handled the demotion well, people came around on feeling bad for him a little bit, but I don't know how you can separate the fact that the Giants were so bad and so much of the reason they were so bad was because the starting quarterback was so bad.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, we used to hear the same thing with Russell when he was in Denver. Like I never thought this, but guys would be like, well, dang, I wasn't that big of a fan of Russell, but I don't want to see him playing this bad in Denver. Like, oh, please, you know what I mean? Like, it just happens. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just human nature to start to feel some sort of sympathy. This is the league, man. This is it. This is the way it goes. This Dalvin Cook rushed for 1,200 yards his last season in Minnesota and hasn't gotten another real opportunity since. How does that? This is the league, bro. This is the league.
You're a Bay Area dude, and we've got a huge audience here from the Bay Area. One of our sponsors is the Last Dive Bar, which is an Oakland-based business that does awesome apparel. They do T-shirts, hoodies. They do pins. They're huge A's fans. They're heartbroken because of the departure of the A's. They're just the coolest dudes ever. I went out to Oakland, went to an A's game this summer. They treated me like royalty. They're the best. They sponsor the show. Behind me, I've got Gary Payton framed on the wall that I wanted to hold up for you since you're a Bay Area guy, because he's obviously an Oakland native. And our listeners are we got so many A's fans that have latched on because I've been vocal about the A's move and that John Fisher's a crook and that baseball's doing them wrong. They've all come here. So I want you to know you were amongst family here with all the Bay Area folk that here is on the show, and Last Dive Bar, who are just awesome guys. That's what's up. I always tell people my favorite road game was at the Oakland Coliseum. Now, maybe there was some nostalgia, and I also played at Candlestick too, which was, that was more nostalgia for me because I grew up a 49er fan. And I remember watching Frank Gore and Garrison Hearst and, some of these other Jeff Garcia, some of these other players at Candlestick. All right. I didn't go to a lot of Oakland games growing up, but I was an A's fan, so I went to a lot of A's games. And playing on the road there, it was just electric. It was, I've been Lambeau and all of these. The Oakland Coliseum and the Black Hole, man, that was a different experience. It was my favorite road game over the course of my career. For appearing here on the show, Santo Tequila. Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar's signature tequila
Oh,
we are
man.
going to send you a bottle of Santo. It is delicious. It is my favorite tequila. I'm not just saying this because they're a sponsor. It really is. They're amazing. They love our show. They love our listeners, and they love our guests. And so for appearing on the show, all guests get a bottle of Santo, and your birthday's coming up.
It
So
is.
I think we got a reason to pop bottles with more models with Santo tequila.
That's what's up. Now, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, my birthday's on the 2nd, man. So this is perfect timing.
And you're going to roll through New York City so we can hang out at some point?
Of course. I've got to go out there. I got to meet with Sirius at some point. So yeah, let's do it.
All right. Right on, man. Well, I know my audience really appreciates you dropping on by. I get so much good feedback on the Sunday morning show on NFL radio. People seem to really love it. You've been awesome to work with since we've been starting that thing since week number 1. And I really appreciate you joining us tonight. And your bottle of tequila is on the way.
Yes. All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
All right, buddy. You too. Robert Turbin right there joining us, Super Bowl champion and NFL veteran Robert Turbin dropping on by. He's awesome. He's one of the best dudes I've ever worked with. And for joining us here on the show, a bottle of Santo tequila. By the way, the holidays are coming up. Would you like to gift a bottle of Santo tequila? Perhaps have a bottle in the house because the holidays can get stressful. Have it with some of the people that are coming over. You have parties, you have holiday parties, you have the holidays, family coming over, friends. Bottle of Santo tequila. You can go to santospirits.com. Use our code Mothership for 10% off your order. Use code Mothership. Get hooked up with Santo Blanco or Santo Añejo or Santo, whatever you have. They have a bunch of different tequilas there, and they're all fantastic. All right, very thankful and very cool to have Mr. Turbin dropping on by here on the show. You can listen to us 9 until noon Eastern time on Channel 88 NFL Radio. I think it's time now for a few giveaways here. What do you say? So Aiden Hatton, the Marquette Marvel, has a difficult job tonight because he's got to choose the winner of the Guy Fieri autographed cookbook. So Aiden, what are you thinking here? Because this is a big time giveaway. Now, if you don't win tonight, it's okay. We've got other stuff. In fact, Santo, I met with Santo this week. They're awesome. They just love the show. I got this great bomber jacket from them. They said, this week we're going to give away an autographed cookbook from Guy. Next week, I think we're going to give away a Sammy Hagar autographed cocktail book. Okay? How cool is that? So we got good stuff coming if you don't win tonight. But what do you think, Aiden? What do we got here?
Well, for the Guy Fieri cookbook, again, don't come out with the pitchforks to me. This is a hard job. Hey, we've been doing this for almost a year, DA. This might have been the hardest job that you've put me to yet, trying to pick out the winner for this one. Mm-hmm. But let's give the Guy Fieri cookbook to Curtis on X.
Wow, King Curtis, huh?
A great contributor, and we'll send you a DM. Either DM me at Aiden T. Hatton, or you can DM DA and make sure we get you in touch with us. But
okay.
He had great takes all throughout the night, including this Rosie the Cat one. Hey, DA, quit pampering Rosie. Maybe she skips a few meals and your mouse problem goes away. Rosie has to learn the thug life. That was number one. Number two, Curtis may even telepathically have known that he was going to win, because before you asked Robert Turbin about Oakland, he wanted to shout out, is Gary Payton above Bo Jackson on your wall? So that was just telepathically happening.
There you go. Yeah, Gary Payton, the glove, was such a great player. You know, I love the NBA of the 80s and 90s. Payton was just so great. Love how intense he was. Loved how he just was a lockdown defender. Loved that he's from Oakland. So, yeah, I had to get that poster, and we've had that up for a little while, but you know, I was going to transition to now all football since we're the throes of the heat of the football season. But I said, now with Turbo coming up, we got to have some Oakland love around here. So yes, indeed, that is Gary Payton behind me. Well done, King Curtis. Well done, brother. Enjoy the cookbook from Guy. Like I said, we'll have more cool stuff to give away. They've got autographed merch to give away to you guys, and they're just, I don't know. I say this all the time, but our sponsors, just like you guys as listeners, are just good people, and I like to keep collecting good people. And Santo said, your listeners are awesome. We just want to keep rewarding them because they've just like stepped up in a big way for this show and they love being part of the show. They're thankful. So I said, well, yeah, what do you got to give away? They said, would they want autographed merch? I said, yes, I'm sure they would. They said, okay, well, we'll get some together. So they got guys signing stuff. They got Hagar signing stuff. So we're blessed around here. Not a lot of YouTube shows that are less than a year in the making have Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri autographing stuff personally for them to give away. But that's kind of the thing that we got going on around here. So spread the word, spread the love to all of your friends and family this holiday season and bring them all in because the good times are just beginning. So what else do we got here, Aiden? Because we got Last Dive Bar gear to give away as well, right?
We also have a Last Dive Bar shirt to give away. And as a quick interlude, not the winner, because I think she's been given a big gift by us. And not that she's indebted to us, but I sent you this previously, but I wanted to make sure the audience knows that Mama was in the chat tonight, and that is one Nancy Morash.
Wow. All right. Mraz's mom jumps in, has entered the chat.
This was the perfect comment that she wrote. She had plenty of them all night, but this is the one I picked. Don't ask me how I got here. Actually was trying to listen to Sean's postgame on WFAN, but instead she's coming to us.
Yeah, Mraz was doing a Giants postgame tonight, and I guess he was talking about the Giants getting shredded by the Buccaneers. And so there you go. Nancy was trying to get on WFAN stream and found us. I just stayed. You got to love it. She is so awesome. And I thank her so much. And Bob for having us at Bob's Bar. I mean, the people that did not show up to Bob's Bar, that have never showed up to Bob's Bar, and they were like, I got to come next time, was so many since we've done that show. And I know plenty of you that are listening right now either have come out when I've done a Bob's Bar show for the CBS radio show or know of it because you've listened for a long time. But there was a lot of new faces that jumped into my chats, DMs, text me. They're like, I want to come out to Bob's Bar next time. And I was like, you got to. So we're going to do it in the summer, I'm pretty sure. And I'm going to let the dust clear on the holidays and then probably in January announce when next summer we're going to do so. So you can plan for your summer vacation, perhaps, to come through New York. All right. So that's what we're going to end up doing, giving you the date way early, setting it up, and it's going to be special. It's going to be really special because the Bob's Bar thing was born anew a couple of weeks ago, and I had so much fun. And the guys that showed up and the gals that showed up, I feel like, everyone that showed up, I'm just now family with. And so I said, we got to do this again, do it in the summer when people can take off of work. They're off of school. They can have some travel time, make it a vacation to New York, and we'll have a good time. So that is coming, and Nancy and Bob open up their doors for us, and we love them for it. So, yeah, very cool. I love that Nancy got trapped in at the YouTube wormhole with us, unable to leave.
Trapped is maybe the best or worst word for it. And I can't wait to be there. All the listeners, I was, chatting with them on that Sunday, how much I wanted to be there. And I know I count myself in that group as can't wait for that next summer date to come up. And yeah, mark your calendars for sure. So that was kind of a interlude in between our Santo winner and our Last Dive Bar winner tonight. Our Last Dive Bar winner will go to a very witted YouTube username, Thick Nick 942. He wanted a beam up right as the show started. Hey, yo, DA, if you don't mind, when the show starts, can I get a beam up? He is sending love all the way from Reno, Nevada.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can I get a beam up? Absolutely. Permission granted, brother. Come on in. Thick Nick. Love having you here on the show and part of the family. This is a great group of people. I just can't say enough. It is a core group of people that just keeps growing. And I consider every one of them a close friend of mine. And I think the world of them. So you are always welcome. Welcome aboard. And for your troubles, we have definitely got some Last Dive Bar swag. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to go grab something so you can see how cool some of the Last Dive Bar stuff is. Hang on. Pause.
In the meantime, I'm going to take over because Last Dive Bar just chimed in at 8:04. So this is 2 minutes ago. And it's so great that DA just took his headphones off. So he's no idea that what was just written. Aiden and DA are some handsome bastards. I assume that's Brian over at Last Dive Bar chiming in. Yep, here comes DA with that said merch. This is called product placement. This is how great our partners are. That Last Dive Bar just chimed in 2 minutes ago how handsome we are. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, and Brian's even throwing us some cash as well. He's throwing some $9.99 gifts and $4.99. If you would like to donate to the cause, you're more than welcome to do so.
Please do.
Within your YouTube dashboard, you will see gift giving and gifts and stuff like that, and that's what he's doing, and we always appreciate the support. And let me just show you some of the T-shirts that they got that you can pick up. This one is stamped. This is a stamp, like a passport stamp, of the last game at the Oakland Coliseum, September 24th or September 26th, 2024. So that's one of their new designs they got, and I got a bunch of T-shirts shipped over here that are looking like that. This is in honor of the 57 seasons at the Oakland Coliseum. That's badass as well. And as you know, they have this great design of the Too Legit to Quit, which was an Oakland Coliseum thing with MC Hammer back in the day with the hand gestures, and that was really badass as well. So they got all these awesome designs. All those are actually black T-shirts, but they have white, they have green, they have a bunch of different stuff. So check it out. Go to lastdivebar.com. Use the code Mothership for 15% off your order and help support a great small business. Those guys are amazing. They support us. Let's support them, especially around the holidays. It's a great gift-giving idea. I mean, you can get a hoodie that says Last Dive Bar or any one of those designs, Too Legit to Quit hoodie. Who wouldn't want that? To me, it's a no-brainer. So thanks, everybody, for chatting away with us throughout the night. I know Aiden has highlighted a bunch of your chats, and that was awesome. I got to read a bunch of those. I'll go back and read them as well over the course of tonight after we are off the air. A note for the Watch the Aliens that have been with me for a long time. Sad news. Pat Boyle's dad passed away about a week ago, and I just went to the service on Friday night. It was the wake, and then yesterday was the burial. And so I got to go down on Friday and see Pat and see his family and say my respects to Bobby Boyle. If you've been part of my show for a while, you know that Pat was an integral part of the show at CBS. He was all heart, all energy. He was also good looks, athleticism, aggressiveness. He's joined us here at Watch DA Live when we were talking about dogs back during the Knicks playoff run. And I love him dearly. You know, he's a guy that worked with me, and he just busted his butt for everything that I asked him to do. He did. You know, it was like, can you do this? Yes. Can you show up now? Yes. Can you do that? Everything that I asked. And there's always a spot on my team for the yes guys. Yeah, what do you need me to do? You got it, DA. Let's do it. And just go all out, because I'm an all-out kind of guy. And he would talk about his dad, Bobby B, the great Bob Boyle, for, you know, a lot of times on the show. And I know how close they were. And unfortunately, Pat's dad ended up getting sick and then turned for the worse very quickly in the last couple of weeks. And it was only about a week that he was in the hospital, and unfortunately, we lost him. So I want you guys to know, for those that know Pat and remember Pat's spot on Watch DA Live or any of his spots and work on my radio show, that, you know, I said a prayer for all of us to Bob. And I really want you to know that I brought the spirit of our show and the D-Aliens and the Watch D-Aliens all together to Bob, because I know how proud he was of Pat. Bob listened to our show a lot. When Pat was on and Pat would do Canadian Bacon, Bob would listen, and Bob was into it. And Pat, I said, Pat, man, you're all heart, you're all guts. And that comes from your dad, I know, who was this incredibly popular guy. I mean, I waited 45 minutes in line, 45 minutes to see Bob's casket. That's how many people showed up, because he was so gregarious. He was such a popular guy. He must have been an amazing dude. And I said, Pat, you're all heart. You get that from your dad, and, you know, you will carry that spirit on. And I know how much Pat's dad was proud of Pat for the stuff that he did on our show and all the other stuff that he has done. And Pat said, yeah, when I would do crazy bits with you guys and do Canadian bacon, whatever. He said my dad would listen to it and laugh. And after the show would be done, he would just laugh and he would say, man, you guys are effed up, and just laugh. You guys are effed up. And he said, he always said that. And I said, that's the greatest compliment, because we are, in a very fun, awesome way. We are, proudly. We are all a little effed up. And so I know that Pat's, it's been hard for him. It's been really hard. And it's hard for, I'm sure, many of you who have lost parents, loved ones, close ones, especially around the holidays. So we're all with Pat. Pat's always going to be part of my family. Pat's always going to be part of this Watch DA family and DA-Aliens family. He'll always be part of what we do. So, I said a prayer for all of us, and I know you guys carry it with you, and I know you guys love Pat, and we were all there in spirit together for him on Friday night. I promise you that. I promise you that. So, toast to Bobby B, the great Bobby B, at some point this weekend, okay? Either tonight or coming up with the holidays. Toast to him, man. Toast to him. A last dive-bar note. As last dive-bar said, we're going to make a donation to the Alameda County Food Bank from proceeds from our photography sales. And RIP Mr. Boyle. Awesome. That's the type of people that we're talking about. We're bringing good people together to do good things. There's nobody better than Brian of the gang over Last Dive Bar. Food banks, soup kitchens, those are really important things to think about this time of year when not everybody has what many of us have. I know one of the great honors of my life was for Thanksgiving at the Garden in Boston. For the homeless, they would bring in homeless people from shelters, families, and we would be on the serving line, and they would have all this amazing food, and I would get the mashed potato station or the stuffing station or what have you, the cranberry station. And it's one of the great honors of my life because I got to see people that did not have anything find joy in their day. And after that, when you see that, you go, well, what am I doing? Because look at what I have. If I can't find joy, what am I really doing here? And these were people with great spirit and with great tenacity, and they had heart, and they had a bad lot in life, and it didn't for that day really matter because they showed up with a smile on their face, and they all said, thank you, and this is so great, and we're so happy, and it's the greatest gift you could ever give. So if you have a chance to be on a food line at a soup kitchen, to serve meals to those that are hungry this season, to buy turkeys for somebody, to donate to a food bank, to buy canned goods, to drop off for canned goods or whatever, do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. It is our responsibility to help those that don't have it, and you will get more out of it than you could ever imagine. I promise you that. So Last Dive Bar guys and Brian, appreciate you doing that for the food bank, and not surprising at all. You guys are unbelievable people. On that note, Little Mo was the best of us, and we got to do our Little Mo laugh of the day. Little Mo was one of the great DA-Aliens of all time, still is wherever he watches from above. We always end off our show with Little Mo laugh of the day. And what would get Mo laughing more than anything these days? I'm sure if I played Jameis Winston audio, right? I mean, that just makes us all laugh. Little Mo loves Jameis, even if he plays for the rival Browns. Mo would love Jameis. So let's listen in to Jameis Winston in the snow on Thursday Night Football.
Horses prepare for battle, but victory comes from the Lord. And we back again out here playing some football on Thursday night. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Touchdowns out here. Let us know some touchdowns. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Love you. Oh, where the fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! You have first snow game? Heck yeah. You said yeah? Yes. Your whole life? I'm from Alabama, man. I ain't never played in the freaking snow before, but I know one thing. We're going to make some snow angels by dominating a line of scrimmage. We'll make some snow angels. Yes. That's what I said. I told you. Somebody jump on sides. Damn.
It really was amazing. Like, I was just praying on the sideline because
that fourth quarter, it really was like it was a whole paradigm shift. Like we were playing so well offensively, and then bang, bang, back-to-back drives with turnovers. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is really an NFL's film moment. The snow starts pouring down. It starts getting like I felt like my feet started getting heavy because I'm squishing through the snow. And man, it was so good, and it was so great to end up getting that win.
You know Mo will be laughing. You know it. You know it. I'll squish you through that snow. NFL Films moment. I mean, come on. Somebody jump off sides. That's awesome. Really cool. All right, that was a good show. That was a really good show. I'm happy that we did that tonight. The way that we did that, Robert Turbin, my cohort on NFL radio Sunday mornings, was awesome. Nice job, guys, with the commentary. Great job on supporting the show as always. Last Dive Bar, guys. For those that don't know, Last Dive Bar is an homage to what they would call Oakland Coliseum, baseball's last dive bar, because it was old, it was ramshackle, it was rickety, and it was like a dive bar. That was baseball's last dive bar. So they named their apparel company after that. LastDiveBar.com is where you can go for 15% off your order. Use code Mothership for all your apparel, all your gear, all your cool stuff. That will do it for us tonight here on the show. Thanks to Aiden Hatton. Thanks to Ethan Frank, and thanks to Carter Bainbridge, who has joined the team as an associate producer as well. We're bringing good people together, creating a super team of listeners, of staffers, and of sponsors, and we're just going to keep doing this for as long as they will have us here, okay? Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure other people know you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure other people subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next week, everybody. Be good. Be good to one another. I'm DA, the Mothership. Disconnect.